spraying your Chucky toys. See me here, see me there, not hard to miss with my orange hair. I sit and stare, just love to scare him. When I speak, I'll fucking swear. With chronic aggression, I'll brandish this weapon. I'm clearing a pathway to Annie's possession. There's never discretion when killing's in session. I'm telling the truth, you can call it confession. Snaps like a car screw, smashed in like a boat on a horseshoe. You're just a preview.
Well, hello there. Welcome back to Animation Station. When I'm not just at festivals waiting to see if a giant reaper will cut someone's freaking face off, I'm here at my normal whatever place reviewing movies. Well, as you know, last time we took a look at Child's Play 2, one of the greatest horror sequels of all time, and well, it's time to whip out the Psycho mask once again, because today we are going to be talking about Child's Play 3. I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not going to be super negative in this review. I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, oh, this movie's a piece of crap. It's not worth even discussing. No, I'm not that kind of person. At least not until Seed of Chucky, which is going to be, yikes. I'm just going to put it that way. But anyway, in trying to get back on freaking topic, let's talk about Child's Play 3. This is going to be a pretty short review because I don't have a whole lot to say, but I will tell you right now, this movie is not bad. Okay? Just want to make that really clear, because I know that a lot of people love to bash the ever-living hell out of this movie. So, this movie is not bad. Get that through your head before you start typing angrily in my comment section. This is not bad. But it's not great either. Allow me to explain. Many years have passed since the events of Child's Play 2, and Andy has now been sent off to a military school, and Chucky has survived yet again, but this time has a new target. My thoughts on this third installment have been a bit varying since I first saw it back in 2017 in a marathon leading up to the premiere of Cult of Chucky. When I first saw it, I hated it, and I found it to be a huge step backwards from the incredible second one. Then, when I watched it again after watching Cody Leach's controversial review of it for the first time around 2018, which is when I discovered him, and it was also mainly because of his very, let's say, controversial review of Halloween 2018. And now he's just an awesome dude that I love to follow and, get his reviews on things. And grew to appreciate it for trying to be drastically different from the first two. Now, on this most recent rewatch, I've come to a final conclusion of calling this movie enjoyable, but forgettable, outside of a few moments. Chucky is still great. He still has those one-liners. He's still voiced by Brad Dourif. He still has some really good kills. He's still Chucky. That part about this movie is entirely unchanged, and it's still great. The setting is a different change of pace. I don't think that putting it in a military school was a bad idea, and they do some interesting things with that setting. They just don't do as much as I wanted them to. The side characters are decent. They're not anything special, but they're okay. None of them are outright hateable or anything. But if you've seen, military movies or stuff like that, then you already know all the cliches in the book that are going to be used here. Andy's character development is still pretty good. He still gets some pretty decent development and continues to grow as a character, despite his new actor being subpar. I think it's Justin Chatwin, if I'm not mistaken. He is a really good actor. He just wasn't given a great role here. The kills are still pretty brutal. I mean, Chucky's is arguably probably the best death he's ever had as a character. His death in this movie is awesome. And then, of course, you have, the guy getting blown up by the grenade. You have the, a-hole, what's his name? The a-hole lieutenant guy getting shot to hell. All shot to hell because Chucky decided to, take away the paint bullets of this little training session that they're going on. Which is, this whole red versus blue paintball game thing. And he replaces them with live ammo. Which, yes, I know it's not actually doable in real life. You can't actually do that. The bullets won't fire. But it's a horror movie. You can stretch the believability at least a little bit. So that part's fine. The kills are still pretty good in here. There's some pretty crap ones. I'm looking at you. Amusement park carnival attendant killed off screen with a single gunshot to the head. That kill is super boring. But most of them are pretty friggin' good. The story is still mostly good. Like, it's still a good story. It's still trying to, continue off of 2 and do a bit of a time jump and have Chucky come back again. And like I said, the whole military thing wasn't a bad idea on paper. It just sadly didn't really quite work for me. The ending in the pop-up carnival is friggin' amazing. Like, that's the one thing of this movie that I can actively remember, even when I haven't watched it for a long time. I actively remember the insane ending at the carnival. Chucky having his face chopped off by the Grim Reaper scythe, or getting absolutely decimated to bits by a giant fan, or the wild freaking roller coaster-like dark ride that this movie's final climactic showdown takes place in. It is a pretty freaking awesome ending. Like, it is an awesome ending. I'm not even going to try to mince that. The ending of this movie is freaking awesome. And the pacing is still solid. It's slow, but it doesn't really feel that out of place with the first 2 movies, which were also pretty slow, so it's not that big a deal. Unfortunately, though, this is still a pretty huge step backwards from the amazing second installment. The beginning is tediously slow, like the whole freaking thing of killing off the good guy factory executive guy. That whole thing was freaking pointless. Yes, the 2 Chuckies talking with each other in the chairs was funny, but I don't know, outside of that, and also giving Chucky access to find Andy's file and go after him again, the scene's pointless. The side characters, while decent, are very cliche. Like, if you've seen military movies before, you know all these character archetypes, you know all these different characters, and you've seen them before in a dozen other movies. So, nothing new. A few kills are lackluster, like the dude having a heart attack. I mean, come on. That was lame. The acting is subpar, unfortunately. Like, even Andy himself. Like, no offense to Justin Chatwin, he is a really good actor. He just wasn't given a good role or good material here, because almost all the acting in this movie is subpar, flat, stereotypical, rushed out horror acting. It's not very good, is what I'm saying. It's not awful. I've seen worse, but it's not good. The love story is pointless and barely affects the story at all. What was the point of having a love story in here for Andy? What was the point? It doesn't even come back later when he comes back later in the end of Curse and, Cults and in the TV show. Like, there's no bearing there. Like, at least we'll get some kind of answer about his mom, their relationship, and still being with Kyle, and, all that. But we don't really get anything about this girl that he ends up falling in love with at this military school. She's an okay character. I do like how she loves to crap talk the lieutenant, despite giving push-ups as a punishment every single time she does it. But, I mean, outside of one little prisoner exchange thing towards the end of the movie, she barely does a damn thing. Like, pointless character. And a pointless love story that didn't need to be there. Tyler is a very boring, forgettable character. That's Chucky's new target. This young boy named Tyler who ends up finding out about the good guy doll because he's given this package to take to Andy, but ends up getting tricked by one of the superior cadets and finds out, oh, it's a good guy. Well, this is mine now. And they do an okay job setting this up by having him watch this commercial while Andy's getting his head shaved by the crazy military dude. I forget his name, I'm sorry. But, I mean, he's a very boring character. I give him credit from trying to do something different by having Chucky not go after Andy again, because that was getting old, but it's still just not good. And Tyler's character is boring. Like, very boring. No offense to the actor, he does a decent job. Even though, like I said, the acting isn't great in here, he still does okay. but the character is just not interesting. And there's a reason we haven't seen him since this movie, because he's so generic and forgettable. I highly doubt anyone that, even after they watch this movie, is going to remember his character at all. Sorry to sound harsh, but that's just how it is. The runtime's too long. This could have easily been shortened by at least a half hour. A majority of the military school scenes are very boring. All the scenes in the military school drag and are boring and barely have any actual bearing on the plots or story whatsoever. Really grinding the pacing to a freaking halt multiple times. It's annoying. Overall, though, I'll also say that this is a good movie and way better than most say. It's not a horrible piece of crap like you've been led to believe, okay? It's not Seed of Chucky. It is nowhere near that abysmal. But it's definitely the weakest of the original 3 Child's Play films. It's good when rewatching it in a marathon with the rest of the movies, but it's not really worth rewatching all by itself. You know, unless it's the only one you have, then, I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. I do recommend it, but don't expect anything close to the incredible quality of Child's Play 2. This is nowhere near as good as 2. Heck, it's not even as good as the first one. It's the weakest of the 3, and just felt like they got a little too bold and daring with some of their concepts, and just didn't have the potential, well, not the potential, they didn't have the budget to bring them all together, which is sad, because they could have really made this something special. But as it is, this movie's still good. It's just not great, or very good. It's just good enough to be passable as a 3rd installment of a franchise. Final verdict for Child's Play 3 is going to be a 6 out of 10. It is a good movie, it is a decent movie, and if you are rewatching the entire series, don't skip it. It's okay, it's a decent enough watch. It is still fun, it has its moments, but coming off the heels of the amazing Child's Play 2, which was so close to getting a 10 out of 10, this was a big disappointment. But it is what it is, I guess. Well, I would say see you next time for Bride of Chucky, but we actually have something different planned for 31 Days of Horror that we're going to start doing simultaneously with the Chucky movies, because there's a movie coming out soon, on October 6th, and it is a brand new movie of a franchise that actually hasn't been around for a decent while. So, I don't know, maybe it will be good. But, I tell you this, it had a really freaking good start. What do I mean by that? Well, join me next time when we take a look at the bone-chilling, tragic tale of Pet Sematary.